Foreign Currency Convertible Bond Woos of India Inc. What are FCCBs and the problem therein? Now in this 5 to 10 minute video lecture, I am going to explain to you what exactly is the problem associated with the FCCBs insofar as India Inc. is concerned. We will understand what are FCCBs, okay, and why is this problem coming in, and what are the various ways in which one can look at it. Foreign currency convertible bonds, or FCCBs as they are called, are basically issued. Let's say, for example, you have an Indian company, an eligible Indian company, and there is a foreign investor. At the point in time, let's say in the example 2005, 2006 and that period, what happened was that the prices of the Indian company share were going up. Okay, so the Indian company raised money from foreign investors by way of FCCB. FCCB basically gives two kind of right to the foreign investor. One, they are low interest rate bonds. At the same time, they give an option to the foreign investor to convert them into equity share of the Indian company. Okay, so let us say, for example, on the date of issue, the price of the share was 100. Okay, and the FCCB issue is done at 200, and let's say the rate of interest is 3%. Okay, and also FCCB issue is done for 10% of the share capital, right? So accordingly, the company, Indian company, would have raised the funds from the foreign investor. Now let's say 5 years down the line, what happened is that the price of the company's share becomes 50. Okay, 5 years down the line, the price of the shares become 50. Now the non-resident shareholder has an option to convert them into equity share, but if the value of the equity share is 50 and he has actually given 200, he is not going to exercise the option to convert them into equity share, and he is going to go and ask this Indian company, pay me the price which I had given to you along with the rate of interest. Basically, redeem my FCCBs. Okay, now comes the problem, because this Indian company, which had actually the price at the time of issue, which was 100, price at the time of issue, right? Because for them to go and raise rupees 200 in the market plus interest, let's say the interest is 20, for them to go and pay 220 is going to be a Herculean task, unless and until they had provided for interest plus redemption amount. If you have provided, you have the funds, life is good. But in case this amount is not available to you, the problem which comes up is that there could be certain options which are available. Okay, first is you do a buyback at discount. So the Indian company goes to the foreign investor and tells him, look, I don't have the money to pay you 220. Can we agree at a lower amount? Let's say, for example, 160 or so, right? If the two of them agree, the Indian company will pay 160, okay, and redeem these bonds. The second option is complete redemption, meaning if you have the funds, you pay 220. And the third option is conversion. Please note that these are only the possible options which are there and which have been exercised at some point in time or the other. This is not what the regulation is currently, but these are just for the general sake of understanding. I am telling you the options which are available. So the Indian company goes and says, okay, let's convert at 50 or maybe whatever price the two of them agree. But the problem is that if you do the conversion at 50, instead of 10% of the share capital which you had issued originally, you may have to issue a higher amount, higher percentage of capital to be issued. Right? As one of the other problems which is coming in is that the dollar to rupee price, which was there at the time of issue, is quite unfavorable to the Indian companies. Right? So let's say they issued it for $100, they got 4,500 rupees. Right? If today they have to pay $100, they are not supposed to pay 4,500, instead somewhere around 5,200. And these are again tentative numbers. Actual rate depends on when you had raised this. So effectively, they have to pay a higher amount. So in view of all this, currently RBI and the government are supposed to be looking at various alternatives or various exemptions or various mechanisms which can go through which the Indian company can redeem these debentures. Sorry, not debentures, foreign currency convertible bonds. The other problem which are evident just because of this fact is that some of the other issues that one really needs to look at in respect of the FCCBs is that these dilution can actually significantly reduce promoter holding. Okay, and may not work well with the other shareholders other than the promoters. Why? Because if someone else is getting shares at a lower price, that may give out wrong signal to the market. Right? So probably the RBI in India or the government will have to come out with some mechanism through which these FCCBs can either be restructured or some funds can be raised to repay the existing FCCBs.